Hi, everybody. I'm a little hoarse today, but it is Yafa. And I wanted to talk to you about screen rules and having screen rules and creating screen rules. I'm going to be teaching a class on this, a free class. So check the links below. So here are some of the pitfalls when parents create screen rules. So first of all, sometimes screens are lumped together, and that makes every screen have this sort of negative connotation. And kids don't lump them together. They pull them apart. They're more like, this is what I use for socializing. This is what I use for homework. This is what I use for games. So they have them split into at least, well, one or two pretty much devices for different things. And so it's something to take into consideration when you're making rules, which of their needs are actually important, and which could be limited. Now, that being said, one of the things that parents do we parents, is to go with a no first. So when a child asks, can I do such and such? The answer is usually no, especially if we don't have time to think about it. Most kids aren't saying, can I help you with the dishes? Can I vacuum the house? You'd say yes to those. But often the things they're asking for, there's something that there's something that doesn't feel right to a parent. And it could be, it doesn't feel right at the moment. It could be, it's never going to feel right. And it could be that in other circumstances, it would be a yes, but right now it's a no. And those are also distinctions. Now, kids with ADHD brains are very good at picking out other people's inconsistencies, because consistency is so important for kids with ADHD. It's the thing that it calms the brain, and it creates an environment in which the brain can function optimally. It there doesn't have to They don't have to overthink. Overthinking is just a way to confuse the ADHD brain. So the next part would be to make the rules simple. And by simple, I don't mean take a rule that's for a neurotypical kid and just tweak it a bit. That doesn't always work. Like, okay, well, my neurotypical kid gets a half an hour to do the chores. I'll give my neurodivergent kid an hour. It's not that simple. Our brains work. We don't work sort of like faster or slower necessarily. That may be part of it, but that's not what our brains are doing. They're not having us work faster or having us work slower. It's just a different orientation to the world. So to adapt neurotypical expectations to somebody who's neurodivergent is not exactly respectful to the neurodivergent person, just as you would probably not take or have the same conversation with a neurotypical child that you would with a neurodivergent child. You may, but you might not. they can be in the same family and everybody can live under one roof with one set of rules, and still the approach is going to be different. So the other thing is that we have a lot of fear, parents. I get asked, well, I don't get asked, I get told all the time from parents who, want to do a session with me, well, my child is addicted to screens. And I think we're using that word way too loosely. If your child is actually addicted to screens, then you would do something about it besides keeping screens away from them. I mean, that's like saying my child's addicted to alcohol, so I won't give them alcohol. Like, are you giving them alcohol? It's just not a simple, I'll take it away and it will be gone. That's not how addiction works. You can't just take it away and the craving is gone. It's a physical craving, it's a mental craving. And so just having it out of sight, out of sight, out of mind, that doesn't work for addiction. At least a strong addiction. It might work for something you're mildly addicted to, or that you're dependent on, but not addicted to. So the vocabulary we use is very important. And then the last point I want to make is that people with ADHD have strong abilities to problem solve, come up with alternate strategies, let's say, but it's not encouraged. And it's not encouraged mostly because the process isn't as direct as some people would like. Let's come up with a solution. And most people are like, okay, well, that means that the first thing he says is going to be the solution. I mean, we play with ideas. And so the first thing we say might be great, but not great enough, or it might be rubbish. And so giving us time to come up with strategies, or alternate strategies, or just strategies, is very important. So when you are talking to your kids about rules or strategies for whatever, you don't want to do it at the last minute because they need time. And ADHD kids really like, ADHD people really like to be seen and to be heard, because in the world, it's kind of, we're a joke. We're a joke all over the world, pretty much. It's ADHD is the punchline for so many jokes, and it has to change because it's inaccurate. We are not that. We are that sometimes, but sometimes people are constipated. I mean, it's not like a permanent thing. It's not like that's all that defines us. It's just a thing that can happen, a thing that needs to be addressed, to be sure, but it's not the negative that it's made out to be. And in my class, we are going to be talking about how the neurodivergent brain works, less scientifically and more pretty basic stuff, as far as what I've learned as a teacher and someone who's worked with ADHD kids since 1984. So it's all this information that I've gleaned being in direct contact with people with ADHD, as opposed to, I didn't do a dissertation on the brain anomalies of people with ADHD. So I'm not going to be talking so much about chemical this and chemical that, but more about how do we reach people who seem unreachable? How do we cut through whatever the barriers are between a parent and child? How do we get through that so that we can become closer and so that our home can be um, more stress-free? So thank you for listening. Anybody who's interested, just check the link below, and it will take you to a page where you can sign up for our free class. If you can't attend the class, it will be recorded, but you do have to sign up. It's not going to be like spread all over. It's for people who sign up. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great rest of the day. And I hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.